Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. We are live this evening to share the results of our voting from our hashtag Disney restaurant bracket. And tonight we are revealing the final four. So I'm really excited to see the, ones that are moving on from each of our categories. And just to remind you, our categories are quick service locations. We also have table service locations inside the Disney parks. We have table service locations in the resorts and at Disney Springs. And then our fourth category is character dining. So I have not seen the reveals yet, but my husband Evan has, and he's joining me tonight. So Evan, welcome in.
Hope everybody's having a good day so far. I guess let's just dive right into it, and we will start revealing the results. So I'm going to share my screen with everybody. Give me just a moment here while I do that. Oh, well, it's a good thing I looked at it before I shared it. I hadn't covered up the results yet. It would have just been like, there it is. So let me cover that real fast.
It'll be a really quick video.
Yeah. Okay, so now they're covered.
There we go.
All right, so now I'll share my screen. That would have been pretty funny. Okay, so first of all, I want to welcome everybody in this evening. If you're joining us, we totally invite you to let us know your thoughts about what you're seeing and the results in the comments. Our first matchup was the well-known quick service matchup here. We got Pecos Bill from at Magic Kingdom against Chicken Guy from Disney Springs. And I think I finally figured out why Chicken Guy made it this far. I think I figured it out.
Why's that?
It's the exclamation point at the end of the name. I think psychologically people are like, Chicken Guy. Yeah, Chicken Guy. I think it's exciting, and so I think that's why it made it this far. But the winner was, and it actually wasn't super close, Pecos Bill. Down goes Chicken Guy.
Wow, man. So here's the thing. If I had been voting, I would not have had Pecos Bill or Chicken Guy be in the running for that top spot in all of quick service dining, in all of the parks, all the resorts, all of Disney Springs. Like, there's so many great quick service locations, and I love Pecos Bill and I love Chicken Guy, but they're not the two that I would have chosen to get this far. So that's really, really interesting. Now, I do think that Pecos Bill is the best quick service option in the Magic Kingdom. It's always the one that, we go to. It's the one that I recommend to clients. I love it. And so I am happy to see it beat out Chicken Guy, because I do like Chicken Guy, but I don't think, you can get Chicken Guy other places outside of Disney too. But I don't know. I would have maybe had La Cantina or Flame Tree Barbecue or Satuli Canteen or something like that make it all the way. Evan, what do you think? What are your thoughts on Pecos Bill?
Well, I mean, I think it's a better choice than Chicken Guy. And when I was sitting here thinking about this was not an easy decision. When I actually voted for Pecos Bill as well. Once again, 4 criteria: food quality. That was kind of a toss up. Location. I gave the location to Pecos Bill because, it's in the Magic Kingdom, and obviously it's not as accessible as Disney Springs, but it's a special thing to be in the park. Atmosphere. I gave that to Pecos Bill simply because it's bigger and it's easier to find a seat there. So that's 2 of the 3 right there. And then value, that one I would say Chicken Guy. But when you look at 2 for Pecos Bill, 1 toss up, 1 for Chicken Guy, Pecos Bill was the winner in my opinion. But like you said, if I'd asked any of you before this started, what is the single best quick service restaurant in all of Disney World, anywhere in the resort property, Disney Springs, in the parks, I highly doubt I highly doubt someone would have said Pecos Bill. I don't think that would have been the one that would have immediately come to everybody's mind. Oh, well, it's Pecos Bill. It's the best quick service restaurant in anywhere in Disney World. I don't think that's what would have happened. Parker Show, hey guys, welcome. They said, wow, I'm surprised. I thought Chicken Guy would knock Pecos Bill out. We did too, actually. After all the love that Pecos Bill has received, Pecos Bill, Chicken Guy has received over the last, few days, we thought for sure Pecos Bill had no chance. We were like, Chicken Guy's going to win. And actually, it ended up beating it, which was really surprising to us too. So thank you for joining Parker Show again. We love you guys. Thank you. Drake said, not today, Chicken Guy. That's pretty good, Drake. That's pretty good, man. So wasn't a blowout by any means, but it also wasn't super close either. Pecos Bill took down Chicken Guy. So Jen Self, if you're watching or if you catch the replay, tell Guy Fieri that we are sorry that it did not make it to the championship round or to the Final Four. All righty. So there is the viewers' votes for the best quick service restaurant in all of Disney World. Pecos Bill, Tall Tale Inn. Who would have known? Who would have known? All right. So now let's go down to the Final Four participant from the table service inside Disney parks category. Bobby Joe said, I love Pecos Bill. So hang on though, Bobby Joe, let me ask you, if someone had asked you before this whole thing started, what is the single best quick service restaurant in all of Disney World? Could be in the parks, could be in a resort, could be in Disney Springs. Would you have said Pecos Bill? That's my question. We love Pecos Bill too. Like, it's great. Like, one thing, actually, I said when I talked about value, I mentioned it would probably go towards Chicken Guy. Actually, when I was considering who I was going to vote for, I almost gave value to. So Bobby Joe said, "Yeah, probably not." Yeah, exactly. That's what we're saying. But when I was thinking, but thank you for joining us, Bobby Joe. We love it when people join us and interact with us. That's awesome. Thank you. Please keep doing it. Whenever I was voting here, I mentioned this last night during the live stream that Ginger and I, we can actually get this big old nachos thing. And is that the technical name for the menu item? Big old nachos. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think it is. No.
And so we get the big old nachos and we split it. So, actually value, for the two of us, we probably get out cheaper at Pecos Bill than we do. And if you're hearing a unicorn cat meow in the background, that's our daughter. She's just picked up a toy and it made a very loud meow sound by accident. So the unicorn kitty says hello to everyone as well. Bobby Joe said Friday night entertainment. That's what I'm talking about, Bobby Joe. We're glad you're joining us on this Friday evening. We're glad. This Good Friday evening. So Disney parks, table service in Disney parks. This was our closest matchup of the Elite Eight. This was the closest one. Last night, we said that this was probably going to come down to a battle between food quality against atmosphere. I think that's probably what played out. Obviously, I'm not the voters. I don't, get to know what people were thinking, but it sure did seem that way because this was pretty split. This was the closest matchup. But the winner was Le Cellier. And obviously, I don't think there's any surprise there. The margin of victory was 58% to 42%.
I expected to see Le Cellier come out on top. And if you go back to the question that Evan asked a second ago of when we started this, would I have said that this was the best restaurant? I probably would have picked Le Cellier to go all the way through this category. So I agree with the voters on this one. But it was up against some really staunch competition with Sci-Fi Dine-In because, like I said, that one is such a fan favorite and one of probably the most popular restaurant in Hollywood studios for sure. But I think Le Cellier was an excellent choice.
And that's a great point because when I was thinking about this and I thought, okay, so in all of the Disney parks, so the four main parks: Epcot, Hollywood Studios, Magic Kingdom, and uh, Animal Kingdom. When you think about those four parks and the table service restaurants in them, when I think to myself, okay, what's the best table service restaurant in those parks? Probably the three of the first four that come to my mind are in Epcot. And so that speaks volumes of World Showcase in Epcot. Um, Obviously not a park to be skipped. We see that sometimes online. People say, you don't need to do Epcot. Do what? No, go to Epcot. Like, eat the food in Epcot. That's like, go to Epcot. I mean, like that, it's really a simple decision. If you want excellent food inside the parks, you go to Epcot. That's where you go. Unless, of course, you're at Animal Kingdom and you go to Flame Tree Barbecue for quick service. I'm still not totally over that yet, but that's where you go to Epcot for good food and World Showcase.
He lost sleep over Flame Tree last night. No, not really. But I mean, I totally agree with Epcot, particularly if there's a festival going on, which is almost year round now. Like, they're in the middle of Flower and Garden Festival right now. So throughout World Showcase and throughout, parts of Future World too, there are just different booths that you can go. You can try different food and drinks. But they're actually starting the Food and Wine Festival. Flower and Garden is Evan's favorite festival. Food and Wine is my favorite festival, and they're starting it early this year, July 15th. So I think that's the earliest they've ever started the Food and Wine Festival. So I'm really excited for that, because typically, that's more like in the fall. You kind of have to try to catch that over fall break, but they've really, I think because of popular demand, kind of spread that out even more. So, save a little room for Cellier, obviously, but I mean, Epcot is really that park where you can kind of skip lunch and just do the festival for lunch, and then go have, yourself a nice dinner at Le Cellier, and maybe breakfast at Riviera on your way over to Epcot or something like that.
Snack all day long. All day long. The park. Oh, I thought about you guys, Parker Show. I thought about y'all. They said no. Why? Just why? They are huge proponents and huge fans of Sci-Fi Dine-In. They voted for that for sure. I know they did. I'm sorry, guys. It was close. It was close. But I know that's a heartbreaker for them. Well, let's go to our next matchup, which is on the opposite side of the bracket. So we're going to go over to the resorts and Disney Springs category. And there's only one place we got to go for this matchup, and that's Disney Springs. Both finalists, I guess you could say, in this category were from Disney Springs, and that speaks volumes of Disney Springs. And I think Ginger and I think, well, I've seen it, but she hadn't, but I think she's going to be surprised by the results of this too, because we were talking about this last night. We were like, yeah, we're pretty confident this one's going to win. And we were wrong. Art Smith's Homecomin actually beat the Boathouse here, and it wasn't super close either. It was 61% to 39%. So that's pretty strong margin of victory for Art Smith's Homecomin.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And here's what you do. The night that you arrive, you get yourself a reservation for Boathouse. And then maybe before you leave, or on your non-park day, you get yourself a reservation at Art Smith's Homecomin. You get to try them both, right? Because they are both excellent choices. And honestly, of all of the categories, this one I thought might be a toss-up. I did think that Boathouse would come out on top, but I thought that it would be really close. And so I'm not surprised to see that it was, it flipped the other direction. Because like I said, I mean, they're both great options.
And let's see, Katie said this one is the hardest. Yeah, I agree with that. I love Boathouse and Homecomin. The desserts at Boathouse are amazing. I think that they're probably, well, I was going to say they're similar, but they're really not. That's a tough one because they're both very popular restaurants in Disney Springs. But I agree.
And Katie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember you telling me last time we were talking about this that Boathouse is where you got the baked Alaska. You can tell us in the comments if that's right or not. But I remember Katie telling me one time we were doing a live video. Katie's another agent, and we were doing a live video in one of our agency Facebook groups, and we were talking about dining at Disney World. And she was talking about this amazing baked Alaska that she had that was like, huge and amazing. And I think that you said it was a Boathouse. So correct me if she said that it was huge. So definitely, if you try the Boathouse, try Katie's baked Alaska.
She said that it was we likened it to the kitchen sink at Beaches and Cream. It was that huge. It was just ginormous. Parker Show said, I thought it would have had a closer percentage. I did too. I really did too. We've had several ties now in the course of this tournament. I thought this might be a tie. It was very, very legitimate possibility it could have been a tie, but the margin of defeat surprised me. Very, very surprising. All right, so there's 3 of our 4 teams. I keep saying teams. There's 3 of our 4 restaurants. Let's do our last restaurant here. So for me, this next one, this was tough too. This was not easy. And when you look at these 2 different participants, or contestants, I guess you could say, you got Ohana and you got Storybook Dining. Neither one of which are character meals all day long. Neither one. And when you look at the criteria, this is not an easy choice. However, apparently no one shared the same sentiment as me because this was a blowout. It was not even close. Ohana beat Storybook Dining, and it was not close. It was 83% to 17%. That shocked me. All I can figure, and maybe Ginger's going to say this too, all I can figure is people hadn't been to Storybook Dining yet. That's all I can figure.
Well, I think too, people are thinking about Ohana dinner and letting that potentially skew it too. Think about it as a character meal, which it only is at breakfast. And it's great breakfast, but it's pretty standard breakfast. But they are wonderful characters. It's one of the only places to see Lilo and Stitch. And so if you are or have a child who loves Lilo and Stitch, Ohana is, really, really an even better choice for you because it is going to give you access to those characters. And also too, it is, right there, got a view of Cinderella Castle. It's in one of the original Disney hotels, it does have a lot to recommend it. But Storybook Dining is, in my opinion, for what it's worth, again, food opinions are really subjective, but in my opinion, I think the food at Storybook Dining is better. The food at Ohana for breakfast is great, but I think the food at Storybook is better.
And you made a good point. Probably Ohana's dinner is probably what made this such drastically different margins. But once again, the food at Storybook Dining, even at dinner, I'm sorry, it's literally the best entree I've ever had on Disney property. That's saying a lot because there's a lot of good food on Disney property, and we've seen that in this whole competition. We've seen that, and the entree I had at Storybook Dining was the best thing I've ever had at Disney World. And I think food quality, it can't just immediately go to Ohana like it has on other ones. Like Ohana against Cinderella's Royal Table, no question, food quality for Ohana. But the last two matchups, really, I don't think that you could just real easily give food quality to Ohana. And atmosphere, I'll be honest with you, the atmosphere is better at Storybook Dining. I know you can't see the castle from Storybook Dining, but it's incredible how that place is themed. You get to meet, as far as the characters there, you get to meet Snow White, Grumpy, Dopey, and the Evil Queen. And in my support for Storybook, I wore my Doc shirt tonight because because Doc is the best dwarf. Oh, now we're getting real controversial. He is. He's the leader. He's the man. And so, you know, I think people need to try Storybook Dining when it reopens. It is a really, really great meal. It's a really great environment. The atmosphere is really something special, and the food is top notch, and the character interactions is top notch. I mean, Ohana is great too. Obviously, nobody's denying that. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
and Ohana was my favorite character meal until we did Storybook Dining, and then it upset it. But before that, Ohana, like if you'd asked me what's the best character meal at Disney World, I'd have said hands down it was Ohana. But now having tried Storybook dining, I think I have to give the edge to that one.
The Parker Show made a really good point. She said, "Oh my gray stuff." She said, "People must love Ohana because it is not close, and it was loved throughout the." You're right. I mean, it's people have supported it very substantially the whole time we've been doing this. They're exactly correct. And so, you know, if somebody's watching and you haven't tried Ohana yet, I think this should be a pretty good indicator to everybody. Try Ohana. Really, I mean, when you look at the Final Four, that should be an indicator to everybody. Hey, go try these places if you haven't yet, because I mean, it's obviously they're making it there for a reason, just like the Parker Show said. And Katie said, "But it's Lilo and Stitch. This is my favorite character." I understand. I understand. And like Ginger said, you don't get the opportunity to meet Lilo and Stitch and very often at all. And so the fact that you can meet both of them there, and Mickey Mouse and Pluto. I mean, it's both places you are meeting four characters. And so I think the view of the castle, I think the dinner meal, I think that's what I wanted for Ohana. Location, I'd give that to Lohana. I'd give that to Ohana because, I mean, you are right there on the monorail line at the Magic Kingdom. So I think of the three value, I mean, that might go to Ohana too, because dinner you might get out a little bit cheaper at dinner.
Yeah, character breakfasts are on average typically cheaper than character dinners. So I think you have to give value to Ohana.
And so, I mean, if you go that route, I guess I could see it because like value and location would both be to Ohana. Atmosphere would be Storybook Dining, and food quality, it's probably Storybook Dining, but it'd be a close toss up. So I guess you could give the nod to Ohana for that reason. But I mean, obviously it's a fan favorite. We had a buddy of ours message us before this even started, and once we released the bracket, and he had printed out a bracket, and he goes, "I filled out my bracket. I printed one out. I filled it out. I got Ohana going all the way." And
know, that's now that I've seen the Final Four, that's my prediction too. I think Ohana's going to win it all.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really tough to beat with the other three that are left. Mm-hmm. So speaking of those other three, let's look at them real quick. We got our Final Four set now. I'll have to zoom out a little bit. I'll tell you what, I uploaded another graphic that would be easier to see than this. So let's upload that other graphic and look at it instead. All right. So here's our Final Four. You got Pecos Bill coming out of the quick service category, going up against Le Cellier out of the table service inside the parks category. Going up against, and in the opposite side, you got Homecomin and Disney Springs going up against Ohana, which is in the Polynesian Resort. So here's what we're going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, all day until 8:00 p.m. So voting will start. You're going to see this graphic show up on social media probably within the next couple hours. And as soon as it shows up, you can start voting. And we will have voting open all the way until 8:00 p.m. tomorrow night. At 8:00 p.m., I will tabulate the results. And then we will go live right here again tomorrow night at 9:00 p.m. to reveal the championship matchup. The thing that most intrigues me about the two matchups left, is the one on the right. And the reason it intrigues me is because obviously food quality cannot just immediately be given to Ohana in this matchup. All we've heard all this whole time is how good the food is at Homecomin, how good the food is at Homecomin. Specifically, the mac and cheese has been talked about. Like all these things that, at Homecomin have been talked about. You can't just be like, oh, food quality, boom, Ohana. You can't do that. What the thing that intrigues me is how much will that character dining experience play into this, because you cannot meet characters at Homecomin. And so part of the atmosphere is the character experience. Well, there is none of that at Homecomin. There's a pretty good one at Ohana. So I think that'll be very interesting. Also, the thing that intrigues me, location. Apparently, people don't mind Disney Springs being a location, obviously. And so that's going to be interesting to see how people treat that. There's a lot of intriguing things about that particular matchup. Honestly, I don't think Pecos Bill stands a chance.
Yeah, poor Pecos Bill. You're putting a quick service up against a signature restaurant, If it goes to Pecos Bill, poor Le Cellier, that's a little bit embarrassing.
Yeah, no kidding. And that's the thing is, not only is it a signature restaurant in Le Cellier, it is what the fans have, all these followers on our social media and YouTube that we love. They have voted this as the single best table service restaurant inside any park, going up against Pecos Bill Tall Tale Inn. Good luck, Pecos Bill. You're going to need it. And so it's exciting to see we're in the Final Four now. And so tomorrow, let us know your vote tomorrow. If you are a diehard Pecos Bill fan, let your voice be known, like let it shout it from the rooftops. Let it be known that Pecos Bill is your choice. Thank you all so much as always, for joining us this evening. I've thoroughly enjoyed this thus far, and we got 2 more days, really. That's it. We're voting tomorrow for the Final Four. We will reveal those results tomorrow night. And then Sunday, we'll be voting for the championship matchup. And we'll know Monday who's the winner, who is the best restaurant in all of Disney World. That's exciting. The Parker Show said everything on this list is popular. You really have to think about what's best for the restaurant. Absolutely. It's obviously all 4 things that would make it to the Final Four are going to be fan favorites. And so I think food quality is going to really those. So just to remind everybody real quick before we end, just to remind everybody what our 4 criteria are: food quality, value, atmosphere, and location. Those are the most important 4 things. And it's interesting. You've got 2 inside Disney parks, 1 at Magic Kingdom, 1 at Epcot. You've got 1 at Disney Springs, and you got 1 in a resort at the Polynesian. And that was another thing we thought was interesting. The Final Four in the character dining category, 3 of them were at resorts. So that was pretty interesting too. But thank you all so much for joining us. If you haven't yet watched our Storybook Dining review, go watch that. Trust me, it's we're going to share the good news about Storybook Dining, because it's great. So you should go check it out. But I'm going to let Jen take us out, and I'll see everybody. Hopefully I'll see everybody tomorrow night at 9:00 p.m.
Yes, we do have that Storybook Dining review, and we also have one of Ohana. So, sharing and spreading the love with that one. We have a lot of different restaurant reviews, actually. Many of the ones that have been on this list, you can actually see the full experience on our YouTube channel. But again, just to remind you, if you're interested in planning a trip to Disney World, my planning services are completely free when you book your vacation through me, and it is the same price to book through me as it is to book it yourself on Disney's website. So if you'd like more information or a free quote, you can visit my blog at gingermmt.com. And you can also see a lot of helpful planning tips and advice on the blog, as well as on my YouTube channel, which if you're not watching us on YouTube, you can find that at youtube.com/gingermmt. So thank you for joining us.